Everyone knows it, everyone kinda loves it. The Samsung Galaxy S8 is truly a legendary device and was one of the first phones to come out with a so-called bezel-less display. But at this point, it is over 3 years old and pretty much every phone does come with minimal bezels. So the question is, does it stand the test of time and how is it to use in 2020? Hi, my name is Mona and I'm here to answer that and some other questions about this remarkable phone. I honestly still think that the S8 is Samsung's most beautiful phone ever. Let's face it, this is a timeless design. Small, even bezels, tender curves around the display, easy to reach buttons. It fits perfectly in most people's hands while simultaneously being large enough to consume video and social media pleasantly. On that note, the mono speaker sounds fine, but can easily be blocked. Alternatively, there is a headphone jack. It's lovely. The camera hump is very small, so it lays securely on its back without wobbling around, unlike modern smartphones. But its design isn't perfect. The curved edges will often make typing or watching videos in landscape a horrible mess, especially when laying on back. And I will always remember the first wave of reviews when figuratively everyone complained about the Bixby button and the terrible fingerprint reader. While I never really had any issue with the Bixby button, in part because I had it disabled since day one, I do have my fair share of dislike for the fingerprint sensor. It can be hard to grasp without a case and it is very unreliable, probably just because of its tiny size. I wouldn't call it terrible, it does usually work for me, but it also doesn't make me happy. Slap a case on and it should be fine, although its placement next to the camera will always be stupid. This is one of the parts where you can really easily spot the age of the device while still being excited by it. This was truly a flagship grade camera back then and it remains a wonderful shooter to this day. I honestly still think that the S8 can outshine modern day mid-rangers and compete with current flagships, as long as you are in decent lighting conditions. Now, mind you, I'm no expert when it comes to photography, but I know how to use a manual mode and how to get the best results in certain scenarios. Pictures usually come out clear with a lot of saturation, typical for Samsung phones. I do have to adjust the exposure quite often to get the most realistic result. Low light performance is serviceable, but this is clearly one of the weaknesses of the phone. You can get better results with Pro mode where you can adjust the ISO, shutter speed and white balance next to other things. I use this to overcome tricky scenarios. It really adds a lot of depth to the experience. But honestly, I really only use my smartphone cameras as tools to capture something interesting or noteworthy, and sometimes I take the odd picture to use as a wallpaper. I would use it more on vacation, but thanks to COVID and work, that never happened since I had this device. A selfie here, a selfie there, and that's it. Next to the selfie cam is an iris scanner. I used it for a very long time and sometimes it can be really fast, but I ultimately ended up using the standard facial unlock, which is 10 times more reliable. In regards to video, the one on the lock screen is pretty much the only one I ever took. You can record up to UHD at 30 FPS on the rear and up to Quad HD at 30 on the front-facing camera. It seems decent. 5.8-inch Quad HD resolution, 60Hz refresh rate, 18.5:9 aspect ratio, 16 million colors. This describes a beautiful Samsung Super AMOLED display that really isn't anything special anymore. But things don't need to be special to be super cool, and this is clearly one of the best things about this phone. It is super sharp, mostly bright enough, and there is literally no sign of OLED burn-in or general image retention on my unit. This phone has been in constant use for about 2 years at this point. Sure, I basically never have it on maximum brightness, and the screen turns off after 2 minutes, Still, this is a good sign. Maybe we're just at a point where OLED panels are so good that burn-in is a non-issue? The screen has one final exciting thing. It has a pressure-sensitive area that functions like a universal home button. You don't need it, but it is so nice to have. How good are all these things if the user experience is bad? A 3-year-old phone by Samsung, that ought to be slow, right? Well, I can assure you that speed is not an issue for the most part. Sure, it ain't no speedboat anymore, but it is totally fine in day-to-day use. A OnePlus Nord, Poco X3 NFC or iPhone SE 2020 will all be quicker, yes. But the phone is no snail either. Apps open up quickly, photo processing is on point, using split screen mode is fine and fun, jumping between apps is generally fast. You will encounter stutter and the occasional frame drop. Nothing terrible though. Apps like Twitter and graphically expensive games will be more prone to this. And I wouldn't throw lots of demanding tasks at the phone simultaneously. It will handle them, but it will slow down a bit. The one thing that might concern you regularly is the RAM. 4GB is not much anymore, and apps like YouTube, WhatsApp or Instagram will close on you sooner than expected. This can be annoying, but it never made me want to put down the phone. The average smartphone user, just like I am, will really have no issues with the performance. Especially when we talk about OneUI. I honestly view OneUI as the best Android version around. Its approach is simple. Load the phone full with features so that everyone can use it the way they want to. Use the Edge panel to quickly launch apps. Make a precise screenshot with Smart Select or launch the quick tools. Customize the sound of every individual push notification you get. Enable the standard navigation bar from the quick settings. There are so many options in the settings application. It can be hard to navigate, but Samsung even thought of that and suggests different options on the bottom of the current menu. Smart, sensible touches like that can be found in a lot of areas. The functions are seemingly endless, and there are often multiple ways to get to the same goal. Yes, there is a lot of redundancy within OneUI. For example, there are 4 different ways to get your messages into pop-up view. 1. Via the recent app screen. 2. Enable edge lighting and slide down the message. 3. Use the edge panel. 4. Enable smart pop-up view. Redundancy has been a common criticism of Samsung's software for many years. Truly, these phones have never been the fastest, even when they feature the latest Snapdragon CPU. But ever since OneUI, this really is no issue anymore. The whole system has been sped up and optimized without cutting off the plethora of options offered. Most people will never fully utilize what their Samsung phone is capable of, but they will still have a very good experience with it. But even I have some complaints to make. Enabling split screen mode is a chore. When I want to change my wallpaper, the phone automatically opens up Samsung themes. I can't even use the theme store since I have no Samsung account. And I'm pretty sure there was a native wallpaper selection menu that wasn't themes. Samsung apps will always prompt you when there's an update available. Or the fact that they never brought Intelligent Scan to the S8 to Note 8 family after they have introduced it with the S9. And why exactly is the search function in the settings app so extremely slow? Searching for an option with the exact wording should really not take that long. I could go on, but these are essentially all minor things or nitpicks. Before I wrap this whole thing up, let's talk battery. 3000 mAh isn't much, and I guess it's fine. It does get me through the day for the most part, but its endurance is not good. As soon as you start throwing heavy tasks at it, you will see the percentage drop, sometimes by the minute. Especially on hot summer days, the phone can get fiery like a volcano just from Twitter. Even when I'm not pushing it, there are days where I need to charge it sooner than I hoped. Luckily, quick charge freeze on board, so topping it off for 20 or 30 minutes already helps. There is also wireless charging, and I absolutely love it. Nonetheless, I was using the phone on medium power mode for the large majority of the year and only switched to optimized mode a few weeks ago. I would honestly recommend keeping medium mode on to everyone. Let's finally wrap it up. The Galaxy S8 is still a very good device, even 3.5 years after it launched. At the same time, I cannot really recommend buying this phone nowadays, unless you have a very good price for it or you specifically want this device. But even so, the S9 is a much better option. Faster internals, better camera, Android 10 with OneUI 2.1. This phone would be a perfect temporary replacement phone if someone from your friends or family can borrow it to you. For everyone else, get a modern day mid-ranger. You will lose premium features like wireless charging or an IP rating. The overall experience should be much better though. And when it comes to battery life, the S8 simply can't hold the candle anymore. Hey, hi, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, or found it interesting, or a bit informative, or at least a bit entertaining. If that's the case, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like and maybe tell me what you liked about the video or what you didn't like so much. And if you didn't enjoy the video, well, you can also leave a dislike, but please write a comment and tell me what you didn't like, what you would improve and what I should make different in other videos. I also have to thank a few people. Huge thanks and shout out to Maxi Göthling for letting me use her amazing work in the video. Check her out on Spotify, and if you enjoy her album Storyteller, maybe support her on Bandcamp. She will release a new album later this year or early 2021, so it's definitely gonna be amazing. So check her out. And also big shout out to my friend Luna, who let me borrow her S10 to capture this video with. And yeah, that was really cool of you. And also thanks to all the people who encouraged me to keep going and to continue making that video. That definitely was a big help. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.